What is up, everybody? I hope you are all doing fine and dandy and whatnot. It's Mr. Christopher with the Funkatopia radio show and my illustrious co-host in a very, very small... Oh, no, he's not small anymore. Wait, your audio's off.
I just got it. I just mute everybody.
My illustrious co-host, Jeff Paige. You like the new Chris here?
That's cool.
It used to be sitting really small over in the corner, but it's not anymore. So, anyways, yeah. So I know we don't normally start the show until 8:00, but one of the things that we had talked about doing is we had talked about starting the show a little bit early and then doing the news, doing music news and doing the hellos and whatnot and just saying hello to everybody and just kind of doing some music news, just doing some talking and whatnot. Tonight we have a very, very special guest that will be joining us. St. Paul Peterson will be joining us. You guys know him from The Family, F Deluxe, and of course, St. Paul Peterson and the Minneapolis All-Stars. Is that what
All-Stars? Yeah, All-Stars.
Yeah. It seems like there was a funk in there somewhere.
Funk.
Yeah,
All-Stars.
he's had a couple of name variations of that stuff, so it's good. Susan, hello. I'm so glad that Susan's always here like way early. She like logs in at like 7:30, and she just sits there for a half an hour waiting for us.
Yeah, she really does. Her and that's Shelby, right?
That's a fan. Yeah, Shelby is always she's always amazing. Yes, Norvis, hello. Jay, hello. Susie, hello. Facebook
Krista.
User. Hello.
Facebook
Laura.
user.
Yes, lots of cool things. So we want to utilize these early minutes here before we hit the 8:00 hour and we go into the interview to talk about some specific things that are going on with Funkatopia and, of course, music news. And hopefully we won't run too hardcore into... I don't know.
I mean, we might, but we'll try not to.
It's going to. We're going to try. I can't see this happening in 15 minutes or less than 15 minutes now, but we're going to do what we possibly can. One thing that's not on here, a couple things that are not on this notation is next week we are, for those who are interested in what's going to happen next week, we have just confirmed Michael Gabriel will be with us next week. If you don't know who Michael Gabriel is, not sure exactly where you've been, but he is the guitarist for a girl you might know. What's her name?
What's her name? Sheila
E.
Yeah, that's it.
Sheila E. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Sheila E.'s guitarist Michael Gabriel is going to be here, and on top of that, some don't know this, but he's also the godson of Sheila E. and Prince. Yep, and he is going to be on the show next week, so be sure to tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be asking him all kinds of questions. He's got a brand new album that's going to be coming out later on in the year. We're going to be doing something a little bit with him on that later on, but of course we'll talk about Sheila E. questions and just hang out and talk about singles and whatnot. But
Exactly. Hey, what's up, Sean? What's up? Lori Johnson, all caps.
So many amazing folks that are going to be on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's break into it. The first bit of news is kind of really about the Album Chat website. We've talked about this before. For those who don't know, and I don't want you to know because it's not set up yet, there is a website at albumchats.com. It's also princealbums.com. Don't ask me how I get these domain names. I just do. We talked about this. I know. I don't even know why they're available sometimes, but princealbums.com, I own that as well. It's funny. I also own, you guys knew this already, I also own 1-800-NEWFUNK.com.
You know what it is they're not available, but they see you trying to get it, and they're like, hey, you can have it.
You know what else I bought a couple days ago?
What?
That I now own?
What's that?
realmusicbyrealmusicians.com.
Oh, my gosh. That's pretty long, though. There's a lot of typos coming out.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
But I like it.
I was watching a video clip, and he was like, Real Music by Real Musicians, like he says all the time. And I was just like, is that domain available? It is. I bought it.
So what you do is you get RM.
Right.
And you point it.
Yeah, good. But
I don't know.
anyways, the first bit of news we're talking about with that albumchats.com website, where it's supposed to be housing all of the album chats that I've done. I've done over 52 album chats. Yep. Every single one of Prince's albums, I've talked about them in detail, the history of the album, all the track history, all that stuff. And it's a nightmare because, I mean, it's over 50 album chats and each one ranges from 2 to 4 hours. Some are in multiple parts, like Sign of the Times in 1999. They're like double albums. There's a lot to talk about. And I feel like I got my flow as we kind of got to 1999. And after that, from 1999 on, we were all good. I had a system at that point in time. But everything that preceded 1999, I just feel like needs to be done over. I was going through the scripts because, yes, what's happening is not only going to have the album chats to listen to, but there's also going to be an entire, you can actually read it. Like the whole entire thing is
transcribed.
Is going to be transcribed. And
nice.
Some of those early ones they're just not great. I kind of feel like I was just trying to figure all that out. And that being the case, in the coming weeks here on Funkatopia Live, depending on the scheduling, we always got guests coming on. But in the coming weeks here, coming on Funkatopia Live, I will be redoing some of those early album chats live right here with you. So we're going to be doing For You, the self-titled album Prince, Dirty Mind, and Controversy right here live with you.
Keep in mind, though, those originals, man, that is part of the evolution of Mr. Christopher. Don't leave that out because they're still great. The information is amazing. By your standards, you may not care for them, but they're still amazing. Work. And so
but
I will say thank you.
Well, you're welcome. But transcribed, they're a disaster. There's a lot of uhs and what's funny is that when I first started this, for some reason or another, I didn't think like we script most of our shows. Most of our shows have a script to them, so we can kind of follow along to avoid some of those uhs and ihs. And in the beginning, what was funny is that I literally have a book up somewhere around here that was handwritten notes. I don't know why I didn't do it on the computer. I just, for some reason, I would handwrite notes, and it was just, anyways, they all need to be redone. I do that with a grain of salt, but along with some of these shows, we also, we have some of these great interviews that are coming in the mix soon, and a new Funk the Funk broadcast, which I am kind of working out. And I know a lot of you have talked about how much you guys have enjoyed the depression one that we did on Funk the Funk, which is a wellness broadcast where we talk about certain things that are a little bit difficult to deal with and are really affecting the listening audience and affecting society as a whole. And with everything that was going on with depression and everything else, we had some amazing, really cool broadcasts. We had the Funk broadcast. Our first one was amazing. We had Tony M, we had Morris Hayes, we had Garrett Scheider from Parliament Funkadelic. We had 2 licensed professionals. It was really, really great. We talked a lot about depression and how to kind of, help to, build yourself out of it. We did another one.
Well, we also got really good feeling about their personal side. So we got true life stories too. So we got to, it's not just somebody talking about something else. They're talking about personal experiences. So that's
it was an intense show because you talk to somebody like Tony who you think he's got it all together, but he is. And and Jelly Bean Johnson was on the show too.
Right. Right.
And Jelly Bean and them are talking about they're still under depression, that they're still they were still depressed at the time they did that, and they probably still are. Well, we did a second episode that I don't know that a lot of people saw live. The Patreon supporters did get an opportunity to actually see it regularly, but it was not ever publicly released, and it was called second episode of Funk the Funk that dealt with perseverance and motivation. How do you get yourself out of a rut? How do you pick yourself up and get motivated to do those things that are sitting in the back of your head and just, to try to pick yourself up and make something happen with your life.
Right.
And it was a really difficult topic, but again, we had Garrett Scheider from Parliament Funkadelic, and we also had Tamar Davis. Tamar from, who you guys know from 3121 and her work with Prince, and we had both of them on the show. And that show I officially released today, so you can go to Spotify, you can go to iHeartRadio, you can go to all those broadcasts, and you can actually hear that broadcast. If you did not get an opportunity to hear it, you can actually take a listen today. It is out there, available for you, and it was done back in February, but again, the Patreon supporters had it. and now you do. Everybody has access to it.
Everybody has it.
So
those are very good shows. Those were. I love it. And
yeah, those are a lot of fun to do. So we got to do. We need to do another one. I feel like it's time to do another.
I would agree. I would agree. Anything that we can get to the personal side of people on a different level. Tear back those layers and who's the real you now. We're not in show mode. That's pretty cool. So
yeah. It's a lot of stuff, and I realize it's a lot of work to do and everything. By the way, Jeff Paige, I want you to kind of keep an eye on who's contributing quite a bit, because our good friend Mark Brown, aka Brown Mark, sent us a copy of his book, My Life in the Purple Kingdom, and it is a brand new uncracked book. Should I? No, I'm gonna let you guys do it.
Don't do it.
Brand new book, and I'm going to send it to whoever's out there that's going to be whoever's going to be contributing quite a bit tonight. We're going to send you out a little something. So it's going to be awesome. Yeah. So plus. Also, one of the things we'll also be doing a new Funkatopia soundstage. We only done one episode of that. It's really, really difficult to do these shows, because one of the things that I discovered is that when you do a live show, Facebook will just kick everybody off if they hear copyrighted music. They just dump everybody to the curb. YouTube allows you to stay on, but then once you're done and you click save or you click end the broadcast, then it goes through processing, and that's when their algorithm comes into play. And then it says, well, this video is not going to be available to the public. It's got this copyrighted music, and then you got to jump through all these hoops to get approval. It's just a nightmare. But what's funny, it's really weird, is that if you pre-record the show and you upload it, they don't seem to care.
Yeah, it's weird.
It makes no sense whatsoever. I don't understand why that is. But anyway, so we'll probably be pre-recording a Funkatopia soundstage episode 2. We'll be talking about a lot of new music. I'm already starting to get we already have a bunch of music to talk about already, but we got some more releases. One from a band called The Groove Crew. That's one of them. And I actually have an extra copy of that one that we'll be giving away also. And another, I guess, a band called Resonator. I guess Closing the Golden Gate, Resonator. We haven't listened to any of these, but we will. We're going to check them out.
Yeah, we'll see if it resonates.
Yeah, that's right. And we got a bunch of other, things we'll be talking about as well. So it's very, very cool. And we'll be talking about those things. So, anyways, new Prince releases. No, we don't have any of that stuff. Don't know for sure, but yes, probably. I'd imagine something else is coming. Rodney did make a good point last show that we had last week. He was talking about, if you consider the 6 years that he's been gone, they've released a lot of stuff.
A lot. They really have. And him saying it and the way he broke it down was kind of like, yeah, actually,
when you think about
we just want.
Yeah, I mean, with the 1999 Super Deluxe and the Purple Rain Deluxe and the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe and the Piano with a Microphone 1983 and all the Record Store Day releases and all the things that they've done, it's a lot. They've actually done quite a bit.
Yeah,
quite a bit of
really
stuff.
Have. And it's the mixing of stuff we haven't heard with things we have heard, and I think people just kind of forget that there's a lot of stuff coming out just because I heard that before, but no, there's enough releases that you haven't. Yeah, and it's gonna keep going. So we're going the right path, that's for sure. That's. I can't even say anything negative about it, of course, because at least they're doing it. They're making the effort. They're putting things together. They're making nice packages, too. And they're getting better and better at how they're packaging these things. So I expect it to continue to grow and become, cool. We're going to want these things.
Yeah, there's so much that's out there now. It's just, I'm trying to think if I've sent, hold on a second, let me... do a little talking here just for a second, because whatever.
Oh wait, we'll get flagged for that.
No, yeah, maybe we just gotta be real careful.
It doesn't matter; they don't even play.
But
I'll reiterate back to past shows, every once in a while I get somebody who says, "Oh yeah, I missed this show. I missed that show." Remember, YouTube Live, Facebook. You can go back, and if you go to our website, you can always see all that stuff. Funkatopia.com. So you can always catch up with past shows and check them out. And that's a great way to share what we do with people. So tell them, send someone a link. Say, hey, check this out. Check out Chris's album chats. That's what I would do, man. I'm telling you, man. I don't care, Chris.
Those are going to be a lot of fun. Those are absolutely going to be a lot of fun for sure. So we do have a couple of news pieces that we want to talk about, but I am going to actually save those news pieces for afterward. We'll be because there's some cool things I want to talk about. We've got some. It's just only a couple pieces, but I think they're pretty cool pieces of news because. Really, the truth of the matter is it's the 8 o'clock hour, and I'd like to make a very, very special welcome to our guest of honor tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause for St. Paul Peterson. What's up? Oh,
and
dude.
In case I forget who I am, I'm heavily branded.
Yeah. I need to pick up one of those T-shirts, man. I absolutely positively have to pick up one of those T-shirts. Yeah, it's
fingers wagging at you, buddy.
Yeah, I know. It's I'm guilty as charged for sure. That is just. I love that. Let me see the entire shirt.
Yeah, show it.
Yeah.
Careful now, you're gonna get some screams of passion. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Daughter came in to check out the show. She wants to see what's going on. She's just like she's gonna follow in the footsteps of Gene for sure.
Awesome. My daughter's upstairs, so there you go.
Yeah, and one of the questions I want to ask was about her stuff. I haven't really seen anything since that album in 2016, and I saw there was a new single that was floating from last year that I'd missed. And is she going to do anything else?
I hope so. She's out in L.A., and she's doing her thing. I think she's doing a lot more writing right now, but I hope that she's put something out. She's so great.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. We're talking about Gene Taylor, my kid, so go look her up.
Yeah. Yeah, not Gene Peterson, because there is another Gene Peterson out there, spelled S-E-N, for whatever. She's a vocalist or a singer-writer in Nashville that's got a few albums, and I was like, that's not her. It's Gene Taylor.
That's
That's Jeanne Taylor. So make sure they...
Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks
and
for
it was
the
called
plug.
Gene, too. The album was called Gene.
Yeah, it was an EP. Yeah, it was really cool. All right, so... St. Paul Peterson, been on our show many times before, and I think that most people have heard all the stories of the family and Prince, and also some of the Peterson family stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the Petersons are one of the first families of music in Minnesota, and our guest, St. Paul Peterson, is the youngest of that family. Welcome, sir.
I'm in the Peterson family basement where there's been rehearsals for over 60 years. Look at this thing.
Wow. That's
yeah.
That's incredible. Well, I mean, now are you still doing the Funk Fridays? Because I've seen it. Didn't you do a couple of those?
The answer to that.
Well, I haven't seen any pop up. I haven't seen any pop up in a while.
121 in a row. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, thank you guys for coming. Good night.
Right. Good night. See you later.
I'm scolding Mr. Christopher show.
No, it's fine. I don't know. Well, and that's the thing too is, we got to get them. Okay, we'll work all through. We're going to make sure that anytime that you post them, that somehow they get connected to our system and they get automatically pushed out. Yeah,
I love that, man. We had pretty cool ones the last few weeks. A lot of Minneapolis funk alumni have been on, and it's been a really fun thing that started in the middle of, actually at the beginning of COVID. And it's been going ever since. And I've had over 200 world-class musicians pop on for this 1 minute little funk jam. And, we're not showing any signs of stopping. I just got a really cool person to sign up to do it for this week. So I'm not saying anything, but one of my heroes.
Oh, man. Well,
yeah.
You have a lot of musical heroes. I mean, because your influences are all over the map. Because I'm excited to figure out which one it is. So I'll try to do some type of analysis. But I don't want to break the thing. But now you were going to be on last week, but you had a previous engagement singing the anthem for a Minnesota Lynx game. Tell me about that experience. What was going on with that?
Well, first of all, the Lynx are the most winning team in Minnesota. Thank you very much. The ladies have got it going on.
WNBA.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was really cool. Set up at the Target Center. Went down there. A friend of mine called me and said, "We'd love to have you do this." And we set a date. Went down there. It was a crazy couple of weeks with my gig in LA, gig in Minneapolis, and then the Minnesota Black Music Awards. And 2 days later, I went and did the Lynx thing. And I'll tell you something about that. Honestly, that is incredibly nerve-wracking. Have you ever sung the national anthem anywhere?
No, I haven't. But
or something?
No, but every single time I see somebody do it, because I'm a professional singer, and I've always thought that maybe at one point in time it might happen. But every time I see somebody do it, it gives me heart palpitations because it's just like.
So here's the trick.
It's got to be so stressful.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Here's my iPhone. Right? I keep looking at it, but let me show you. Let me see if I can get rid of this. Oh, no, go away. I have to show you this because you'll laugh if it'll allow me. My screensaver.
Is it the lyrics?
Yeah. Bottom line is that screensaver is my lyrics, but you can't see through it. So I'd be dressed in a suit and have my hand in my back pocket, just ready to go. And the Rockets red. Hey, I ain't too proud, man. I'm old, you never know what's going to happen, especially after that brain fog I was in after all that cool stuff we were able to do in the last couple of weeks. So, anyway, yeah, it was great.
So, I know that your daughter's involved in music. Anybody else in your child-wise is involved in music? I mean, I've always meant to ask you this too. Well, I mean, your family is kind of like the Nevilles in a way, where where the second that you're born, an instrument is put in your hands and your path is set, right?
Or you're excommunicated immediately.
The first word isn't mommy or daddy, it's
yeah, exactly.
So tell me about some of the other members of your family that are involved in music and some of the stuff that you're really, really proud of. That's not you, obviously.
You mean my brothers and sisters and all that? Or
kids too, yeah.
Kids, yeah.
Well, my brothers and sisters are a bunch of badasses.
They are.
I mean, I'm the luckiest guy alive because I got to be the youngest and watch all the rehearsals go on in this very basement, from bebop to blues to R&B to funk to my mom and dad rehearsing down here with big bands. I mean, it was insanity. And I just sat back and just drank it all in. I was the sponge. And it was just an incredible way to grow up. All my brothers and sisters still are professional musicians making their living off of playing or singing or doing radio or something in media. And it's incredible. We still get to play with each other all the time. My brother Ricky and I, and my other brother Billy and my nephew Jason put a record out about a year ago. I just so happened to have it within reach.
I think I have one up there. Yep.
Yeah.
I think I saw him play with you with LP one night at one of the shows. I think it was a few years ago. Well, actually, it was pre-pandemic. But man, that was the first time I got to see him.
Drums?
Questlove was not on drums.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't remember who was on drums. Yeah, if I were to be, that would have been great. So you had Questlove on drums, and Ricky and yourself, and was Eric there? Who all was there?
Of course, yeah. Eric, guitar and drums, who plays with Corey Wong now, and Brian Simniak, who's a killer keyboard player here in town, and Peter Shimke, who we lost a couple of years ago, unfortunately, but that's a killer band. But just to get back to answer your question, my family in general, they've been such incredible support team for me, and we support each other, and we can't wait to get together and hang out. When usually we don't play music when we hang out. Yesterday was July 4th. I had them all here at the family home, and we were in the swimming pool, and I was the chef, and I'm cooking up burgers. So we hang hard, we play hard. We've passed that down to the next generations. And Patty's grandkids are singing now, and like I said, my kid's singing now, and my other kid, who's upstairs just getting married. She's a great singer. She doesn't pursue it as a living anymore, but it's still in her bloodstream. So yeah, it's been really cool, man. It's been an awesome life.
Yeah, and you guys are truly, truly blessed for sure. And sorry about this background music here.
What is
there
that?
It is. Yes, yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about that. We're absolutely.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna be talking about that in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you need that solemn look to make sure you're mirror there. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
And you know that Steve Park took all those pictures. Yeah, I got to tell you a story. So the artwork on the record is absolutely beautiful. The photos are absolutely beautiful. I got down. I had to submit my credits, and guess who I forgot to put on the credits? Steve Park. Whoops! Oh. One of my dearest buddies on the planet. He's like, Paul. I'm like, I know what you're gonna say. It's my fault. So, just a bonehead move. What are you gonna do?
Is that gonna be fixed on the reprint of those CDs?
No, I'm gonna make stickers or something. I don't know. I know I'm gonna talk about it on every interview I do, though. I talk about him on every interview I do.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, we'll get him on the show and make sure that he also comes in and make sure he publicly claims it too. So
ask about that. Say, did Paul Peterson really forget to credit you on record? He didn't want to. Take him there.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to enter a segment that we like to call the line of questioning.
Oh, God.
The line. That one goes in again.
Yeah.
I was going to have a graphic to go with it and everything. I was like, nah, screw it. We're not going to do the graphic.
Every answer is like...
Yeah. No,
so we're going to have
your audience are going to be like, I don't give a shit what this guy...
So we're going to have some fun.
Let's do it.
We're going to ask some really random questions, and maybe as a result, and hopefully maybe get some news stories that you've completely forgotten about because, your life is so full and blessed that sometimes, sometimes people show me pictures that they took of me, and I was like, where was that at? When was I?
Yeah, and who is that? Yeah.
All right, let's start the line of questioning. First question. What was the worst birthday present you ever received?
What kind of fucking question is that?
That's a setup.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to think of what he set me up for.
No, I don't have any backup stories that are going to be like, well, your aunt said that you really complained. No, it's not going to be any of that.
I think it's probably, this is the safest answer. Kind of BS, but not really. But the lovely ties that you get from a relative, or an older relative, that are just like, thank you. Oh, I love it. Wonderful. Thank you.
With a smile.
Yeah, it's always clothings and...
Oh, I love it. Oh.
This is the best.
You got to hold it up to yourself a little bit for a second. Like, yeah.
Hey, what?
It matches the couch.
Gave me? Oh, yeah.
I'll wear it at my next show.
Yeah, definitely going to wear that DAV.
Well, I can tell you right now, anybody that's watching, one of the gifts that I would like to receive is an XL of that shirt right there that he's wearing, because that's
this one.
That one. That's coming.
And the matching hat that we're currently out of.
Yes, I may have to pick up a matching hat once it's back in stock. All right.
Cool. Anyway,
have you ever walked out on a movie because it was so bad, and if so, which one?
Oh, I can't tell you.
Well, is it if it's Under the Cherry Moon or anything like that?
If it's Purple Rain,
it is.
I am so sorry to say, I was like,
oh my gosh, did you really walk out Under the Cherry Moon?
Maybe.
I mean, it could or could not have.
The question is, did you walk out of the movie?
I did not. I went through it. I was like, I thought to myself, actually, Graffiti Bridge. What Graffiti Bridge was the equivalent for that for me, because I sat through Graffiti Bridge and halfway through I was like, certainly It's got to get better.
What's going on here?
Certainly.
Look, you don't throw me under the bus.
I'm not.
You know I love P. You know I love P.
Absolutely.
I just didn't care for that particular movie. That's all. I'm not gonna lie. I also think it was because during the time right after I had left the band, and he was suing me, and there was a lot of bad blood going on, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, because
nah.
And that kind of leads into the next question. Actually, I'm jumping 2 questions ahead because I'm just curious because I know that your life has been, again, great and blessed, like I mentioned before. And in most cases, with your career, you can actually get in and out without being noticed, which is great. I mean, that's great as a musician to not have to be inundated all the time and interrupted. But looking back on
almost famous.
Almost famous. Those are great. That's kind of like just enough to feel like you're just enough to feel like you're validated, but not enough that it interrupts you. But looking back on the situation with the family, and of course you leaving for the solo career and enduring that whole Punk of the Month crap and all that stuff, what would you have done differently? And you can't say I wouldn't have done anything differently. If you were forced to do something different,
me what I cannot say.
I am in this case. What would it be? Would you have handled something differently back in that? And if you had a time machine,
probably. I mean, look, I was 20 years old, 21 years old. I was working with the biggest artists on the planet.
Right.
I would have. Looking at myself now and what would I have done? I would have handled the breakup differently, right? I probably would have cushioned it a little bit more than it was cushioned because back then the person who was representing me, I wouldn't necessarily hire him again.
Right? Yeah. So some
I
guys think about themselves. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know whether the outcome would have been any different, and he would have been less mad at me or whatever the case may be, because I was gone already, right? I was leaving no matter what was going to happen. But to preserve the relationship would have been nice if I could have done that somehow. If I could have given him something or a portion of, because it would have made my life easier. God knows he made it a little interesting during the time when I was trying to put out records back then. Yeah, I was just young and dumb and fearless, and I probably would have tried to massage that a little bit differently,
Yeah. How did I don't think I ever asked you this. How did your family feel about the decisions about that decision? I don't think I ever asked you.
Are you out of your mind? Are you what? You're going to do what? You're going to leave Prince? I said, well, yeah. Naturally, you taught me to be independent. You showed me how to produce records, of course. And by the way, I'm going to hire all of you. And they went, oh, okay. No, they question it because I'm the little brother, and I had to answer the questions, and I moved on with it. And then, of course, they supported me, and the rest is history.
So this is still in the line of questioning, but some of them are silly, like walking out on movies. But how old are your kids now, and what is your favorite non-music related thing to do with your kids?
29 and 27 in 1 week. Two girls, two beautiful girls, Kelly and Taylor. And we love to travel to Hawaii. We've been doing it since they were this big, and now they're very large. And we just planned our trip to go to Hawaii. It's something we look forward to. It's like a second home to us, so I guess you'd say we love to travel. And now that they have boyfriends and two boyfriends, they come along as well. Wow. So they could very easily go, yeah, thanks a lot, Dad, but you're my parents and we're pushing you out of our life. We are hanging harder than ever. So that's what that is to me.
Nice.
Yeah, and what's really, really cool about that is that, when you bring them along, obviously if you can afford to do it, because Hawaii is not cheap, but It's one of those things where Hawaii is a very, very expensive place. I have yet to go. It's on my bucket list, but I do know that it's very
back.
Yeah, probably not, because I'm absolutely a beach guy. I love beach. But yes, that's cool. So, all right, let's get back to the silly questions. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream, and when do you remember the first time that you ever ate it?
Well, ice cream's a nightly event here in this house.
What's your favorite?
Peppermint bonbon or mint.
Peppermint bonbon? I don't think I've ever.
Is that real?
That's got to be a Minneapolis thing for sure.
Midwest right there. That's a Midwest, and that's exactly what Prince would have said to me. He would have gone bonbon, peppermint bonbon. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they called. They called it mint chip ice cream. They call peppermint bonbon in certain areas around it. So whatever. That's what we call it. I like it. Okay.
Yeah. When I got down here to Atlanta, I couldn't find pierogies anywhere.
So we settled for peppermint bonbons. You know?
Hey, you got any peppermint bonbons?
Hey.
Oh, that's funny. And when do I first remember eating that? Probably with my mom. She would take us sometimes to go get ice cream.
All right. What is one of your pet peeves? Like something that just drives you crazy? I mean, and it's kind of a little social commentary, but there's got to be something. Right now, it seems like everything agitates everybody.
You agitate me.
Pretty much.
Your friggin' questions.
Stupid questions that irritate me.
Questions. Too many.
Your line of questioning, mister. You can't handle the truth. I don't like people who have no empathy. I can't tolerate that. I don't like people who say they're going to do something and they don't do it. That drives me crazy. That can be in life or that can be musically. In other words, if I hire you to show up and play something, you better do your homework or else you ain't getting the call back. Like, just say no. Just say no. So,
yeah, musicians are notorious for that. I've been in the industry. I mean, not as deeply well entrenched as you are. And both of us do music, and it's just we've crossed paths with plenty of folks that do just like you say. It's just they're
out of tune,
it's very frustrating.
And guitars, and out of tune saxophones. Those are my pet peeves. And if your chain, and I've got a million of them, I'll tell you what. And if your chain is like this and you got the thing hanging down here where you got to clasp it, right?
Oh, I can't stand the clasp.
you got to put it in the back. What it is.
Yeah, sometimes you don't even notice those. Sometimes it kind of makes its way around. But if you see somebody, maybe you should feel compelled to turn it around.
Just go over there and just like, hey, let me get this for you.
I'd be thrown in jail. Just get your hands off me!
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
The clasp.
Speaking of food, if you were trapped on a desert island and you could only choose one food type or restaurant to eat, for some reason there's a restaurant on this island, to eat for the rest of your life, what would it be? It can be a specific restaurant or a specific cuisine that you could eat every single day, if you had to, for the rest of your life. Regardless of intestinal fortitude or any of that stuff.
Right. You're trapped on a desert island. No one's around.
No one's around.
Yeah. There he goes again.
There he goes.
How'd that go over? Yeah. Well,
it's the peppermint bonbons.
Yeah. I'm coming over there. Well, first of all, I like peppermint bonbon very much. I'd like to eat at that restaurant. No, I love Italian food. I love Indian food.
Yes.
So I just love something with a lot of flavor.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I was going to say Mexican. I was thinking to myself, I asked myself this question, would be Mexican, but it would be very deadly. It would just be.
Italian would be the safest.
Actually, Stacy has a question for you. She said, was it difficult being talented and beautiful?
Stacy, it still is.
I figure I just throw that. I'm trying to watch some of what they're saying here, but some of the stuff.
I want to see. I got to see where that is. How can I do that? Okay, hold on. Comment. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Okay, I see it now.
Speaking of which, is there
snoring too? For crying out loud. Are you snoring? Quit snoring, yo.
Quit snoring.
Okay. Maybe I shouldn't look at these.
Is there a food that you like that other people might think is disgusting? Like, for instance, things that I like. I love liverwurst, but most people are like, what? But like things like blood sausage, haggis, I couldn't eat those types of things. But is there something that you like?
They also call that braunschweigen. Did you know that?
Braunschweigen. Braunschweigen. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They call it.
Put on a bagel with cream cheese.
And a peppermint bonbon, and you're good to go.
Peppermint bonbon. It's all set. Disgusted. Everybody's leaving. Forget about it.
Hey, everybody's in the chat. Bonbons for everyone. Peppermint bonbons for all.
Peppermint bonbons raining down.
right.
Do I? No, I mean, as a kid, I used to like liver, but now I can't even stand that.
And that's really weird for me too. Like I like liverwurst, but I don't like liver.
Did your mom make you eat liver? Sit down and finish your liver.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's like a powdery aftertaste or something that I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is, but
yeah, I wonder who in the audience had to eat liver as a kid. Who enjoys it to this day?
No, I don't
want
know.
to see that poll.
Yeah,
man.
But go ahead, Jeff Paige.
I used to be disgusted by Brussels sprouts.
Oh yeah.
And recently, I've been able to start eating them a little bit, depending on how they're made. But I know so many people that are just like.
How about a little balsamic vinegar and a little honey, and then put them under the broiler? Get them a little crisp on the outside, tender on the inside.
There you go.
Yeah, when they're done right, I finally realized. But as a kid, and up until actually as still a kid, but only recently I've been able to eat them and go, okay, there's some room here.
How about let's get into cheeses because I used to hate cheese growing up, and now I can eat almost any kind of cheese. The really smelly feet kind of cheese, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
it's just Well, and none of us are kids. I mean, all three of us are in our 50s, so we don't qualify for kids anymore. We all, it's just, it is what it is. All right, we're gonna get to a sweet question now. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Jeff Paige had one more question that he had put in here. What's the most unhealthiest food that you absolutely love?
Peppermint bonbon.
Peppermint bonbon. I knew it was coming.
Okay, so I swear to you, because I'm a runner, the only reason I run is so I can eat ice cream.
So it's not the reverse.
I'm still 185 pounds, same I was in high school.
I love it.
I quit drinking 23 years ago, and I have such a sugar Jones because I replaced that sugar that you get from alcohol with sugar that you get from peppermint bonbon.
That's right.
and Hershey's syrup, as much as you can get on there.
Yeah, and the sugar-free stuff is just not going to cut it. It's so disgusting.
No, don't
so
do
bad.
that. So that's the most unhealthy food I eat is that.
Okay.
Which of your friends are you the proudest of, and why? Like somebody that just has accomplished something really, really great in life, or maybe they contribute something to somebody that you're really, really proud of.
Not saying the rest are losers. We're just saying the proud.
We might be saying that. I mean, but we won't.
Wow, that's such a tough. These are hard questions.
Yeah, they are.
With no prep, and then I'm sitting here and go.
Well, I did prep you for one. question.
Thank God, because that was a hard question too.
But there's 250 in the list.
I would have to say my buddy Wayne Cullinan. He started a restaurant from nothing and built it up and has been doing great things with it. And he's one hell of a friend, I'll tell you that.
What's the name of the restaurant?
See, I hate when you.
You'll think about it, and then we'll be somewhere down the line, and you'll go da da da, and then we'll know. Or maybe when I'm blabbering, you can Google it or whatever. But we definitely want to check it out, and we would do whatever we possibly can.
Is it called Wayno's?
Right. Cool. No, it's not called that. I'd actually know.
Okay. I mean, you're wearing a shirt to remind yourself your name, so friends.
Paul Peterson. Yes. St. Paul. Right.
So music can come from anywhere, I mean, you can hear a great song on a TV show, movie, or Spotify suggestion from a band or artist that you've never heard before, and all of a sudden you're like, what is this? And you Shazam it or whatever, Soundhound it, whatever they do, and you find some great new music. What was the last time that happened to you, and who was it? Or can you... Some new artist that you discovered.
Probably Jared Lawson. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
Jared. Oh, he sounds like Donny Hathaway meets Stevie Wonder.
Ooh, what now?
What?
Jared Lawson.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Who out there knows about Jared Lawson?
I'm sure there's some folks. Stevie meets Donnie. Oh,
wow.
Okay. All right.
For real.
My two top.
Writing it down. Gonna check that out. All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I started watching. I recorded all the new episodes of the newest season of Atlanta.
Okay.
Which is Childish Gambino's show. Well, Donald Glover's stuff, and the music that's playing in the background is always something interesting. So I always keep the closed captioning going at the bottom because it says such and such song is playing by who. So yeah, that is. It's so there's a lot of great music that happens on that show. So it's
I
something.
keep the captions on so I can actually understand what's going on the program.
Yeah, or if the wife's asleep, Yeah, you know what's funny is that sometimes there's like really really faint conversations that are happening in the background that are important to the plot, and you never know that they were happening if you're just watching it without the closed captioning.
I've had the captions on for 15 years, partially because I'm hard of hearing, but second of all, you're right about that.
Yep.
There's so much dialogue.
It's crazy. Or sometimes they'll whisper and you can't necessarily hear what they say. But yeah, you should try closed captioning. Sometimes it's annoying in the beginning when you first start doing it, but then you get used to it. All right, we just got a few more questions, and then I want to talk about this amazing new album that I've been playing in the background. What famous person, alive or dead, would you love to be trapped in an elevator with? Now, of course, this elevator is going to be lit and well ventilated. Let's just say you would be trapped in there for about an hour. Who would you want to be trapped with, and what would you want to know? Remember, alive or dead, no family, famous folks only.
Yeah. Probably Stevie Wonder. And I've met him several times, but
really,
he's my absolute idol. I mean, I'm like, I know so many people that have played with him. I have a ton of friends who've toured with him. I've just never gotten to hang with him.
And what was the first time you met Stevie?
Yeah.
Was at I think it was here in Minneapolis. At his show, I got backstage and I said, I'm a huge fan. I'm in Morstay in the time. My name is St. Paul Peter. He said, oh, yeah, I know who you are. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I think he was pulling a fast one on me, saying that he knew what I was because my jaw hit the floor. I'm never at a loss for words. And that's where I met him backstage. I was freaking out. And then I met him with Donny Osmond, because we both did the closing ceremonies for the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. Our dressing rooms are right by each other. Donnie and him go way back, and Donnie's one of my closest friends. Donnie says, you want to meet him, don't you? I'm like, yeah. So he took me and grabbed me, and we went and hung with Stevie for a while. But he's a genius, man. I'd love to hang with him more.
Yeah, I've met Prince on 3 different occasions, but only one time was there actual verbal, and I was just so, my head was just like processing height, I was just processing everything, and clothes, just amazingness, yes, and I couldn't. It ended up being a very, very short conversation of, the typical admiration things, like, oh, you're the best, and oh, your music means the world to me, and that's that. But yeah, I wish that I would have had, mine definitely would be Prince in an elevator for sure.
Totally
is there any instrument that you don't play that you wish you did?
Cello.
Cello.
Okay. Yeah. cello is one of the most beautiful instruments in the world. I'm running out of time, and I've got so many plates spinning, I can't add one more.
Right. It seems like that would be like a really easy one to go to, since you're such an avid guitarist. Is it that difficult of a transition?
I don't know. I've never tried it. Maybe I'll take it up now. Now that you mention it, maybe it is close.
It seems like it's a pretty simple transition.
My
It's
life,
just
Mr. Christopher. I'm a cellist now with the Minnesota Orchestra.
it seems like it'd be pretty. It seems like it would be a pretty simple transition, just going from here to here. I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Not. No.
Not at the level I want to be at.
Yeah, I imagine so. Okay. We have 2 questions here. What is the funniest way that you have ever been injured? And what's the funniest way that you've ever injured somebody else?
Okay. Recently.
Okay.
So it's Memorial Day, and I'm having a barbecue with my family outside, and I'm taking the Weber, right? So coals and all
The
that.
Weber, right.
I'm pushing a Weber, and some embers are falling out. So I
Hot-
get into the position.
okay.
Hot embers are
Yeah,
falling out.
right. I guess I stopped myself because of like they're embers, so therefore they're hot. So the very definition of an ember is heat. So sorry, I stopped myself.
I'm barefoot, and all of a sudden I'm a coal walker.
Oh no.
And this is literally 4 weeks ago, and I'm finally healed up enough so I can run again.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. What's the funniest way that you've injured somebody else?
I don't know if I have a good answer for that. I don't recall. Come back to that one.
All right. If you had a choice of a superpower, what would it be?
Flying.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a pilot, but I'd love to be able to just go and go.
Yeah,
just bypass that security line. Bypass security.
Yeah. Oh,
Never
man,
mind. Freaking doing it myself.
Cool, though.
Oh my gosh.
So cool.
My superpower, I've always, it's unquestionably my superpower. I would love to be able to do anything with time that I wanted. Turn it back, move it forward, stop it, any of that stuff. You say something stupid, just like, wait a minute, let me try that again.
Edit. You want to edit, don't you?
Try that again. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, so only 2 more questions. If you weren't a musician, what do you think your profession would be? Is there something else that you're really good at outside of music?
If you would have asked me this 30 years ago, I would have said a baseball player.
Well, there you go.
I love baseball, but I also love to fly, and I would be a pilot.
And Eric would be there cheering you on, watching you play baseball.
Oh God, yes. He's funny as hell, man.
Oh my gosh.
He's something else.
Yeah, we had him on the show right after the Braves won, and he was not a happy camper, but
no, not at all.
He was okay. He kind of had to get over it.
It was fun.
All right, so the last question in this, well, obviously what we've been calling the line of questioning. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Line of questioning. I gave you a little heads up on this one yesterday because this is kind of a loaded one, but name. We don't even have to do 5. We can do 3. But name 5 albums that changed your life and a little reason why.
Okay. This was difficult. I'm glad you gave me a heads up. But
yeah,
the most impressionable time in my life was like when it was the late 70s. Coming up, listening to all sorts of great music. I'd steal records from my brothers and sisters. Stevie Wonder, Inner Visions, Fulfilling This First Finale, Songs in the Key of Life. So that's one artist.
Yes.
There also was an artist from here that my brother worked on by the name of Rocky Robbins. I knew every syllable of his records. I was so proud of him because he's one of the first people I ever knew that got a record deal out of Minneapolis. So his record was great. Rocky Robbins, you got to check him out.
Okay.
Then George Benson, Reason, Give Me the Night. All the guys who played on those records are now my buddies. And I texted Greg Fillingates today, and I went, "Did you play on Off Broadway, which is a song on Give Me the Night?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah." I like, dude, every time I pick up one of my favorite records, you're on it. So, and that's because of Funk Friday that I can call him. I just reached out to these guys and said, "Yeah, I love your playing. Would you mind playing on this?" And we've become friends. It's crazy. So anyways, George Benson, Earth, Wind and Fire, I Am.
That's an interesting choice for an album. They have some amazing albums, but
I love that record.
yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, dude.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody name that specific one
Right.
out of their discography, but that's a great album.
Go back and listen to that.
Oh, yeah.
For something completely different, Asia by Steely Dan.
It's fantastic. Needs to be longer, but a masterpiece nonetheless.
Oh, man.
It's only like 30-something minutes or something like that.
What a great 30
Oh,
minutes.
yeah. Of course.
And
yeah.
then,
It's classic.
Hey, don't worry, I've been lied to. I've been here many
Go,
times
Michael.
before.
Go,
Don't
Michael.
worry, I know where I stand. I don't need this love. I don't need this. I loved the Doobie Brothers back in those days.
Nobody had the tone, and I mean, Michael McDonald was one of those guys that, I love the Doobie Brothers too, but most of the stuff that I love from the Doobies is when Michael was at the helm. That's very simple. I just.
But I will say, I think you sang too clearly. I could understand your words a little too clearly. So. That's better. There you go. But he's one of the. He's the great, like you said.
Yeah.
And what an incredible,
Yeah.
perfect gentleman he is, man. He's done so many nice things for my Peterson Family Scholarship in Jazz Studies that we have here at the University of Minnesota. He's done videos for us. He's done shout outs for us. He's just a great guy.
Man, Michael is amazing.
Really is.
He's one of the best for sure. All right, well, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so now you have new music now. I want to talk about Break On Free. Man, and you had the album. We had the album cover, but you have the actual album sitting right there by you. So show everybody that album cover. Everybody needs to
pull that up too.
stpaulpeterson.bandcamp.com. You can obviously order that. You can order the CD. Actually, the autographed CD is sold out.
It is.
But there's going to be a new wave that's coming. So
No, I got to get them from Germany because that's where they make them. So, you know how hard it is to import your own CD?
That's right.
It's hilarious.
well, why is it from Germany? Was there nothing here in the States that? Obviously.
I'm the record company in the States, and it's still better for me to import from Germany. It just takes longer.
Expense wise or?
Yeah, expense wise.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, there you go. There's the
nuts.
biz. There's business 101 for you right there.
Well, we've had the track "Something in the Water" on rotation on the Funked Up radio station. For those who are just joining us for our interview with St. Paul Peterson, as you guys know, we have a 24/7 ASCAP licensed radio station that plays 24/7 funk, and "Something in the Water" has been on rotation for since you released it as a single. Right. The app is called Funked Up. You can download it on Apple, iTunes, whatever. Also Google Play. But it's 12 tracks. And again, congratulations on selling out those autographed copies of the CD.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there will be another batch for those that missed out. So get your name on the list. Again, that's St. Paul Peterson, St. Paul Peterson, bandcamp.com. You can get the digital copy. You can get the CD. You can order vinyl there as well. So let's talk about the album for a few minutes here while we still have you, because the opening track, Break On Free, is a funk banger. So,
yeah, really.
I
really
that
like
track, man.
What's that?
He was saying he really likes the track, and you were notating about the horn arrangements on that song.
I really like those horn arrangements.
It is.
Thank you.
Yeah. So who all is playing on the horn section on that track?
So that's my horn arrangement with the plug-in. That's me doing that, and then I have my buddy Snowman Brian Powers playing over the top of it. So he just put a little a real stuff on the top of it. But I just love Earth, Wind, and Fire and Tower of Power. So I had
got that feel.
Yeah, it's well done.
It's such a great song. It's got that really that Minneapolis sound. And I think somebody had commented when they found out we were going to be on the show. They said this it's got a great Minneapolis sound without being a carbon copy of everything that you'd expect to hear from the Minneapolis sound. So it's got its own flavor and its own sound. And there's so many songs, to me that are really, really amazing standouts on this album. I mean, we talked about Something in the Water. If you haven't heard Something in the Water, it is a really, really great tune. Got a really cool, a bunch of shout outs at the end for a bunch of Minneapolis musicians, which was really an honorable thing to do. I think a lot of people, obviously appreciate it when they get shout outs. But let me just tell you that the third track, I Couldn't Do It Without You. Mm-hmm. When I heard it, the immediate thought that I had was Hall & Oates.
Right.
And when I saw the notes on the album that were on that Bandcamp page, and the description on the page said the song was influenced by Hall & Oates, I was like, that's crazy, because I can hear it. And so, I mean, without even seeing the notation, I heard it. Was that an influence that really was the foundation of writing the song, or did it just kind of end up that way?
So check this out. You're gonna laugh at this. One of the other tracks on the record is called "Minnie Forget Me Not," which is a cover of "Philly Forget Me Not," which is a Hall & Oates song.
Right. Yeah.
I covered this song with my buddy Leon J. He wrote the lyrics. I did the track. It turned out so well, I wanted to put it out. So I wanted to get permission. So I called my buddies from Hall & Oates and got the manager's number, because I wanted to do it, above board and all that. So I sent the song to the manager. The manager calls me back 3 days later and says, "Hi, this is Daryl Hall's manager. He really wants you to produce him."
Wow.
And I went,
"What?
What? I'm calling about a song. I just want to get it. Are you sure you're talking to the right guy?" And he's like, he wants you to come down to South Carolina and produce his record.
Wow.
So I did.
Of course.
And
it happened.
It happened.
Wow.
The record probably won't come out, but that's okay. I still got that in my life, which is great. So the thing about the third song is that his bass player wrote that for Daryl, and I turned it into a Hall & Oates-y kind of a feel for him. That originally was for Daryl Hall to sing.
Wow, that's very, very cool. And I think one of the things, Daryl appreciates, even when he has, what's the show? Is it Daryl's House? I think it's...
Yeah.
The show that he has where he invites musicians to come in and kind of hang out and just play music and jam. But one of the things that he always tells them is like, we want you to sing some of the one of our songs, but it can't be the ones that you would normally go to. We want you to kind of dig deep into the library. And I think that may have been a really a big part of it, is because that's not one of the bigger songs. So I think Daryl really appreciates it when you dig into his library. I think it just kind of shows a little bit of appreciation for his music, and I think that's really they've always, every single time they've ever won an award, Hall & Oates would get on the microphone and they always just like, I'm glad that you like this song. The whole album is really just as good as this song.
Right.
So I think that's a really big thing for them. But
and plus to be able to step in and write something in that style, and them identify it, and others to identify it. You know what I mean? That's true art. To be able to go, this is who I want this for, and it actually sounds like them to them.
Yeah.
That's great.
Or you do it as well as they do. That's just
right.
Thank you. I love that song, and I love the treatment of it. It ended up being super fun to have Eric Leeds on the end of that. Did you hear the little Minneapolis section on the end?
Yeah.
We took it out a little bit. We had to, just a little tiny bit.
Oh man, it's one of the things I just appreciate all the little nuances that you have, and I'm sure you're going to share some things as we kind of talk through some of the other things with this album that I wasn't aware of. But one thing I do want to kind of dig deeper into is the 2 covers on the album. I mean, obviously, when you consider the Hall & Oates track we just talked about, the Stevie Wonder's "Love's in Need of Love Today" and Robbie Robertson's "Broken Arrow." So let's talk about what the decision process was in including those 2 songs. I mean, let's start with "Love's in Need of Love Today." You obviously mentioned the fact that Intervisions and "Songs in the Key of Life" is right up there with your favorite albums. But so that seems like an obvious reason. But was there more to it as far as including this song? What specifically about this song really spoke to you and for inclusion here?
Well, first of all, it's very, very dangerous territory to cover a Stevie Wonder track because
absolutely
no one can
every
do it better
way.
than Stevie. You can't. If covering a Prince song, no one should cover a Prince song. I mean, there are some unwritten rules in life, but I just went. I'll tell you why I did it. During the pandemic, first of all, I told you my family has a scholarship at the University of Minnesota for jazz studies. During the pandemic, we had a virtual fundraiser, okay? And our city, Minneapolis, Minnesota, was hurting. It was on fire. They just murdered George Floyd. And the only way that I know how to respond to that is with my art, through music. And Stevie said it so beautiful, "Love's in Need of Love Today." I want to do this on our family's fundraising special. So I did, and that's my whole family on that track. And I put a little bit of our, my arrangement stuff on there because I didn't want to carbon copy it, but I wanted to also pay homage to the way he did it because it was perfect. But still putting a Peterson family kind of a thing on it. So that's why I did that, because the world still needs healing. And what a lyric, man.
Right.
Yeah,
what a lyric.
Absolutely.
That's a good one. What about the Robbie Robertson song? That's a great song. That's one of his more. Robbie's always been all over the map with the styles that he kind of touches on, but you kind of chose one of his more poppy songs. That's kind of more. A lot of people. What was the decision process for that song, "Broken Arrow"?
Do you want the truth?
Yeah,
The truth is
preferably.
No,
we can handle the
lying.
truth.
Peterson,
Do
just
whatever you
keep
want.
lying.
You
Yeah,
can do whatever you want.
yeah. No, I prefer some messed up story. Make it interesting this time.
Make it
though,
interesting,
would you please?
Right.
Fluff it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We can't handle the truth.
Yeah, exactly. We cut that with F Deluxe for our covers record, but it was a bonus track only for a select few patrons. So only about 40 people even knew that existed. So I was going through my catalog and I went, this has got to come out. It's funky, it's dry, it's nasty, it's a great song, it's a great tribute to him, and I thought it fit the record perfectly.
Yeah, well, you said F Deluxe bonus track. Who was on that track? Because I don't have the credits listed for that particular track.
Me and Oliver Lieber, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I played B3, piano, bass. He played guitar and drums.
Well, this may be one person that was aware of that track. Audrey says, "Wonderful time with St. Paul." Thank you. I always enjoy his authenticity and generosity of spirit. Guess that's why I was his first Patreon subscriber.
Hey. Yes.
So Audrey
Thank
was
you.
probably one of the ones that was aware of that track. Maybe.
Probably.
Well, if it was
She-
F Deluxe, probably a separate Patreon, probably.
Separate patron. Yeah, this is for my podcast, which I'm late on one because of all the stuff that was going on last month. Audrey, I know I owe you a podcast. I'll get it to you.
Let me try to think. There was a couple questions in here that we starred. I know.
Yeah.
Norvis, we have one. What are you most proud of in your musical career?
Oh, wow. Well, there was one recent event that took place that kind of takes the cake. I've been playing black music my entire life because that's the music that my family was drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
I got a phone call the other day from the Minnesota Black Music Awards saying we'd like to honor you for your contributions to black music. And I was like, are you sure you got the right guy here? I'm a white kid from Wichita. We know exactly who you are. And Pete and Kim Rhodes have been friends of mine for years. And I'm just blown away by that. The acceptance, the camaraderie, the acceptance of being able to authentically play the music that African Americans came up with. And it's just been, that's probably one of the biggest highlights of my life.
Yeah, that would be a big one. That would absolutely be a big one. Yeah, that's huge.
Wait, I just happen to have the thing here.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's seen this. This is news.
Hey.
This is brand new.
Wow, look at that. Nice.
Wow. Okay. Congratulations.
Very cool. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
That is.
That could hurt somebody. Good job.
Yeah.
We're going to continue talking about the album here, but I wanted to get a couple questions. Have you ever attempted to sing one of your songs in another language? It says.
No. What a great idea.
Facebook user.
Not.
I think that's Cammy.
Well, what song would you... Here's a question for them. What song would you like to hear me singing in what language?
Huh.
Yeah, that's a good question. What song? Yeah, what song? Yeah, I would... It seemed like... I've always wondered, because I don't speak another language. I've tried to learn Spanish a few times, and for some reason, some pieces stick and some pieces don't. But I don't understand song like lyrically. Am I supposed to rhyme the words as they are, or if I translate what rhymes in English into Spanish, is it gonna still rhyme? I don't. Some things just don't make sense in the transition to me, and that's just because I don't speak another language and I'm an idiot. But that's fine. I don't know.
I resemble that remark.
I resemble that remark.
But it's still something I wonder about, So, all right, one more question, and we'll get back to the album here from users. Oh, it's still the anonymous Facebook. One thing do you want the world to remember about you, and what do you want on your headstone? Wow. That's a good one.
Bump them off early.
We did say we are in our 50s, folks.
Great song. You're out of here.
Back in my day, the 80s and the 70s.
1985. No,
I remember.
That's an interesting question. And now we've totally blown the question out of the water.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Honestly, that I was a light in the world, man. That I was a connector of people, and I was a positive person. That's what I want.
Yeah,
that's the way I try to live my life.
Yeah. And the headstone thing always takes a lot of thought. It's like, all right, this is going to be committed into stone. I need some time to think about this one.
Yeah, because you knuckleheads are going to replay that when I die. This is what St. Paul wants in his headstone. He's headed on. So put it on there. Hey, remember. Wait a minute. Let me rewrite that. Time machine. Stop it.
We got a couple people that just said screams of passion in Spanish.
Espanol.
Yeah, screams of passion in Spanish. Yeah. And then Chaz said, you deserve that award, and thank you for being so humble, and you appreciate your contribution to our music. Thank you for being my friend. Total gratitude. Michelle asked, how are the ducks?
The lease was up June 1st. They left, and they've been starting to come back around a little bit. I have a whole mini series about Jimmy the Duck. He comes every morning, and I used to have a little dog that you would think that he would chase him out of we got a pool in the backyard. Hell no. The dog, I called him a good-for-nothing dog. Her name was Gypsy. She did nothing. So we had a whole comedy series. There were little live segments, and I got more stinking hits on the Jimmy the Duck series than I've done on any music I've ever put out.
Which
is quite sad.
It's annoying as hell, isn't it? You do something stupid, and it's just like, really? That's okay. But anyways.
Jimmy the Duck is great, though. We love Jimmy. Jimmy's fine. Jimmy and Mrs. Jimmy, they're doing great. I haven't seen their kids. I'm assuming they have some. But they come by once in a while to say hi and that kind of thing, and poop.
And poop.
Hopefully not in your pool.
On the deck, poop deck.
Yeah.
Poop on the deck.
Poop deck. Yeah. There you go. So let's get back to the album, because obviously, I'm a huge fan of the funk tracks, but one of my favorite songs that on your new album, which again is available at stpaulpeterson.bandcamp.com. Please make sure that you Jeff Paige, if you want to create like a scroller that goes across the bottom for that. One of my favorite songs on this album that I think is perfect in every way is Another Glass of You. It's smooth, swinging, jazz flavored. It's just such a strong track. And when I first saw the title, of course, the first thing I think of is Joni Mitchell's "A Case of You."
Right.
So is that kind of where the inspiration come from? True or false? And then give me a little bit of background on that track.
So I toured Europe right before the pandemic with my brother-in-law, Jay Corcoran, and a kid by the name of Daniel March, who's a great artist of his own. He's an Aussie, and my manager at the time, who was my manager for 25 years, Neil Richards, hooked me up with Daniel because he was already over in London. And we did a power trio tour with some backing tracks, just because that's what we had to do. And Daniel, what a great artist he is, what a great writer. And he was infatuated by the song I had out years ago called Intimacy. And I said, well, dude, write me one for my new record. And he wrote this. And then I brought in my brother Ricky, who produced Intimacy with me. And we kind of made Intimacy 2.0 with this song called Another Glass of You.
It's such a... everything is right about it as far as the production is concerned, like the vocal levels, the feel of it, the layering of all the instrumentation. It's such a great song. It's so well produced and so well polished. And some songs can be over polished and some songs can be too raw. And it's just this song was just it's definitely one of my favorites on the album for sure.
That's my George Benson influence on there too. I got to play the solo on that. I love George, and I got to work with him. I don't know if you know that, but it was a dream come true.
I bet. I mean, George is just he's a legend.
He's George, yeah.
But one of the funny things I find interesting about this is that you take this really amazing jazz tune, and then you follow it up with.
Yeah, right.
That's because I'm not right in the head.
Great track, but I also love that you jump from one side of the spectrum completely to the other.
Welcome to my brain, man. Welcome. Yeah.
So
it's a scary place up there.
Yeah, I bet. But, I mean, even when you're laying the songs out and you kind of listen to them for the continuity part of it, is there anything that's... Yeah. If there's any such thing.
That word. What are you talking about?
I don't know why. Continuity.
Continuity,
so did it hit you at all, or did you at any point in time say to yourself, maybe there should be a transition there, or fuck them?
The latter.
Yeah, I think
the latter. No, man, after a great smooth track like that, I wanted to wake your ass up.
Punch it in the face.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great track.
Yeah,
and my other favorite track that I haven't heard anybody talk about in the previous discussions that you've had about the album is Blue Cadillac.
Oh yeah.
And I love the track because of the fact that, and I wanted to skip to it, which here it is. I love the slow grinding blues tracks, kind of similar to Chris Stapleton's Tennessee Whiskey, that.
Yeah.
That it just like borderline, I may need to downtune for this type of thing.
Right.
And what's really funny about that is you're hearing Stapleton's, and I'm hearing Bill Withers.
Oh yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah.
Grandma's Hand. I'm hearing Bill Withers in that all over it.
Yeah, so this had that slow blues funk tinge, and I mean it's just so different from any other track on the album. So, yeah, tell me about this song. But first, tell me why the song wasn't titled Baby Blue Cadillac as opposed to just Blue Cadillac. I don't get me wrong, Blue Cadillac's a cool name, but Baby Blue is it's more visual. So I'm just curious why you went with Blue Cadillac and not Baby Blue Cadillac as opposed to. And for those who don't know, who haven't heard the album, he says it.
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
He throws it out there.
I've recorded Blue Cadillac about 800 times. I love this song. It's just the blues, man. The blues always feels good. It's on Blue Cadillac's on this record.
On Wikipedia, yep.
Blue Cadillac's on this record. Blue Cadillac's also on Blue Cadillac 1996. Totally, it was treated like Tower of Power back in 96. I love this song. It flows off your tongue. It tells a cool story. It talks about one of my favorite cars I ever owned, and you never can go wrong when you can do any good song in any style.
Right.
And I just thought this would be kind of fun to try this nasty dark treatment to this one.
Okay.
I love it. I love that feel because it's something totally different and adds a complete different flavor. And I think what's really, really good about this album is that it shows how many different styles that you can attack and perfect. I mean, this album is fantastic. So anybody out there does not have this album,
it really is good. Absolutely.
It is killer from front to back for sure. We do have another suggestion for your song in another language, also in Spanish. This is actually Ocean. Every Heart Needs a Home in Spanish. Yeah.
Okay.
I love that song too. I got a gold record for that because it was on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle soundtrack. And when I taught college, all my students would come up and go, they didn't give a shit about the time. They didn't give a shit about any of the other records that I did. They all pointed at that one. Oh my God, that's unbelievable. You were in Ninja Turtles? Ninja Turtles. That was my claim to fame. Okay, I got it. Give me 2 seconds. I have to actually, now that it's 8 o'clock, I got to flip a switch. Realistically,
okay.
Turn my air conditioner back on because otherwise I'll be sleeping in about a 99-degree house. 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Amongst yourselves.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, we're here with the amazing St. Paul Peterson, who is going to switch on his air conditioning right now. I love these impromptu moments. These are fantastic. The album's at stpaulpeterson.bandcamp.com. Easy enough. That's easy peasy. And
but now you're going to hear a fan going.
it's fine. So we're about to finish up anyways. Tell me a little bit about the last track on the album, which is a great song, obviously, Song for Julie, Forever I'll Love You. Seems like a pretty self-explanatory track for sure.
That's my girl. Are you kidding me? Julie Ryan. I started dating her in 11th grade in 1981. And we broke up, started dating again in 83. Got married in 1990. She, as I said on the Minnesota Black Music Awards, she's been with me through every hairstyle I've ever had, and there have been many. She's the best partner, the best mom, the best everything, and I wouldn't be anywhere without her. So you write her a song. That's what I wanted to do.
And it's the closer too. Man.
As well it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll lock that woman in.
I got a few more years out of it,
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so to kind of close things up, this is a final question, and again, before you go, again, if anybody does not have this album, you absolutely positively need to get it. You see the address scrolling along the bottom of the screen right now, stpaulpeterson.bandcamp.com. Get the CD, get the digital version of it. It's such a fantastic, it's a really, really good album. And I'm not just saying that because he's on the show. It's a really good album.
Let me just say, and throughout all the years of hearing you and listening to you, your voice still continues to get better to me. Like some people that you hear their voice and then throughout the years you just know their voice. For some reason, yours is always like, oh my gosh, like it's like a new revelation when I hear you throughout these years.
No way. Thank you.
It really, like this one, I'm blown away because I said Bill Withers, but I'm hearing that tone and those changes and all that, and I'm going, man, I didn't know.
Huh? Good. I love surprising you, man. That's good.
Man,
I want to keep surprising people.
Yeah. And I'm sorry for some of these Facebook folks that they're showing up as Facebook user and their names are not popping up. I don't know why their names are not copying over, but I'm seeing a lot of Facebook folks as Facebook users, and some have those names. I don't know what the reasoning for that is, but anyways, please go get the album.
Tonight's takeaway: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Peppermint Bonbon. That's a good takeaway. That's what's going on my tombstone.
So one of the things I want to say, it takes a lot of time. I mean, I know a lot of people here aren't in music or art musicians, but it takes a lot of work and effort to commit to writing and getting in the studio and putting it all together. And there are a lot of people who have fantastic ideas in their heads. It doesn't necessarily have to be with music. It could be like a business idea or something that they've been striving towards. Maybe they wanted to start a YouTube channel, whatever it is that somebody's aspiration is. But they just can't seem to find the time or motivation to move forward. So as somebody who has just gotten done finally releasing his new album, and you just went through that and, finding that gumption and motivation to kind of move forward, what are some things that you would tell someone to help motivate them to follow through, to start moving them on those things that are nagging at them?
I think the most important thing to remember is never give up. Never give up. Well, we started this interview by saying, Paul, you must love the fact that you can walk around anywhere and people don't recognize you. I went, kind of true, but you never give up. You keep putting out great music. Keep putting your best foot forward. You keep being the best individual you can be, because there's only one of you, and your idea, your art, your passion is your passion. Don't listen to the naysayers. Listen to your heart, and don't give up. Just keep rolling, man. You got to keep doing it. Document what you're doing. See how far you've come. You'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. And all they are, really, don't be too precious with everything that you do. I hear this record and I go, oh, I wish I would have done that differently. But they're just postcards in time. It's like, here's where I was in 2022. I'll do another record in the next couple of years and I'll go, okay, that's where I was in 2025. Just keep moving. Don't get stuck. Get unstuck. Go for a run. Get outside. Clear your head. That's what I would tell you to do. But most importantly, never give up.
Yeah, that's fantastic way to close the show. Absolutely. And Audrey can say better. Amen. And as I mentioned too, we have the Funk broadcast that was just released today with this talks about perseverance and motivation. We do a wellness broadcast and it's just being able to kind of pull yourself up and just make it happen. You're the only one, you want to lose weight, you want to do whatever you're going to do. Mm-hmm. You know what you have to do.
Yeah,
we know that it's tough to get to that next level, but I am very happy about one thing, and that's the fact that you were motivated to get to that studio and put this album together, which is absolutely fantastic.
you.
stpaulpeterson.bandcamp.com. Get it.
Thank you.
Paul, thank you so
you guys
much for
so much.
joining us, man, and we hope to see you soon. Maybe on one of these wellness broadcasts that we do for Funk the Funk. I think you got a
Call
lot
me
to
for
share.
that. I'd love to share, about my running, not career, but my running passion.
Yeah, I mean, we could do another motivation one because I think it's that time. I think people are
so important.
People want to
it
know. It can be
is.
overwhelming. But again, thank you so much, Paul, for joining us, man.
Much love to all
Thank
you
you.
guys. Thanks for your constant support. Thanks to all the
Absolutely.
people who are in the chat window, wherever that may be. Love you all, and I hope you like the record.
Yes, I'm sure that they do. And remember, again, stpaulpeterson.bandcamp.com. And if you missed any of this broadcast, you want to see it, you can tune in tomorrow, same place, Facebook, YouTube, or you can also go to iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts, will be available tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, Paul, so great to have you aboard. All right, brother.
Thank you,
See you later.
See you, man.
That was St. Paul Peterson in the house. I got to get my normal spot.
Man.
Yeah, and he's a legend. He's a Minneapolis legend.
Really
He's
really
the
is.
dude. And that album is fantastic. It was a great one. He was actually going to be on the original Funk the Funk broadcast that we had done on the depression one. But I'm glad that he didn't make it. Actually, he tried to come on, but we had 10 people on the show.
Too many people.
And so we couldn't get on. But
I really like what he said about having something and holding on to it, and basically stop holding on to it. Just go, let it go, release it.
Yeah, I think we that was one of the topics that we had talked about before. That we were discussing about wanting to do as a topic. We're going to calling it regret. We call it the power of regret or something like that. Yeah. So it's those things that happened in your life that it may have happened last week, but for many people, it's something that happened years ago, decades ago. And it's still weighing on you. It's still affecting you, even though it has no control over your life anymore. And right. What do you need to do to be able to escape that monster that is regret? How do you get out from under the weight of it and say, okay, I'm
and how that regret has maybe made you a better person. It was about all of that, like the power of it. Like you said, it could be a negative, it could be a positive, but it's affected you somehow. So
yeah, it could be a decision that you made in your life, maybe that led to something. I don't know. It could be anything. It could be something that led to somebody being hurt, or a divorce, or something a decision that you made many, 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 many years ago, and it's over and it's done with. But yet you can't. There's no way you can change it. It's done, but you hold on to it, and it's just so much. We had a couple of so that's probably a good topic for the next Funk to Funk for sure. So we did have a couple of I don't know why I was disconnected from his Funk to Funk broadcast. I don't understand. Because I asked him, I said, "Are you still doing Funk Fridays?" Or not?
Yeah.
I said Funk to Funk, the Funk Fridays, and for some reason I stopped getting alerts about them, so I assumed that he wasn't doing them, or that he stopped doing them, or whatever. But I guess I just wasn't diligent enough. I don't know. I was an idiot. I don't know. But
don't let it
it's
happen
all right.
again.
So got some really, really cool takeaways. Peppermint bonbons.
Peppermint bonbons is
Rocky Robbins. He had mentioned somebody that was a local artist that we wanted us to check out. Is there a local artist that really was a major influence on your life musically? That you listen to, that maybe nobody else knows who they are, but you used to be like, whoa, oh my God, these guys are just amazing, that maybe nobody else has even heard of. That was a major influence.
for me.
Yeah, for you.
For me, it was, and still is. When I was in Boston, it's the Tavares. They're from it's a Boston.
Yeah, but people know. I'm maybe even say even smaller than that. Because Tavares were well known.
There would be two. Hold on. There's one guy. This dude, he's a beast. Like every time I see him, his personality, the way he carries himself, not just blown away by his music, but his professionalism. His name is Clinton Babers. The dude is awesome. He plays his guitar and he's got a killer voice. And I think he's somebody who, when I see him or hear him, I think he's an awesome dude. So.
Yeah, there's a couple that I think of. I mean, one band that some people know. I mean, if you've been in Atlanta for any period of time, but they actually were beyond that. Was David Ryan Harris's band Follow for Now, which came out of Atlanta, and my band played with them in a few different occasions. But they were obviously David Ryan Harris is big now, and he's actually plays guitar for John Mayer, and he's got his own solo project and everything else. But in the early days, he had a project called Follow for Now, and they were just so amazing. It was just one of these bands that was like a funk rock band, and they were so friggin' good. And I was friends with him, and it was just so cool to watch a band. And when their album got reviewed in Rolling Stone, they gave them like a 3.5 out of 5 stars in Rolling Stone, and I was just like, man, these are, wow, gosh. Oh, yeah, Greg Brown. And actually, if you listen to Funked Up, the funk radio station, not Purple Yoda Radio, but Funked Up with the funk music, I have like a lot of Follow for Now tracks that are on that radio station, just because I want to make sure that other people hear about them.
There's one other group. But they're rock. They're heavy rock. Their name is Hero the band. If you've never heard these guys, Hero the band is the band to be watching. If you've never heard of them, these guys, the black rock band, and these guys are murder on the stage. Their show, their performance live, killer. So that's another one that I like. I like those guys a lot too. Just saying, IJS.
Yeah, we had I guess some other questions here. Can you guys get Sharon Nelson on the show? Would be nice to hear the status of his state. Sharon has been on the show before. She came on the show. Well, it was primarily to talk about the release of her father's album, John L. Nelson, when they put together the music for that album. She was on the show talking about that, but she has not been on to talk about the estate. I would imagine. We would love to have her on, but I would imagine there's probably some legalities with that because they probably got to maintain some type of, I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know if this is somebody else that you were inspired by, not you, but Andre, Colin James, Danette mentioned Jack Bailey. Cammie said Harry Lee Summers and Duke Tomato. Or tomato. Tomato.
Potato.
She's autocorrect. It's Henry Lee Summers. And Krista said Henry is from Brazil. He is amazing. Yes, these are some names I've never heard of. Another guy that was a big influence on my voice, besides Prince, somebody, because my voice doesn't sound anything like Prince's, obviously, but his intonations, the way that he kind of guides through his phrasing, I get a lot of the phrasing and a lot of the grunts and noises and stuff that he would do. I did adopt a lot of that from not only him but also from Jesse Johnson. But from style wise, there was a guy that was a major influence in the 80s. It was a Christian rock band named Mylon Lefevre and Broken Heart. And not a lot of people knew about him, but he was really, really big here regionally. And I think he was probably big nationwide too, but his name was Mylon, Mylon Lefevre. He's actually a pastor of a church over in Texas now. His daughter, Summer, is married to the lead singer of the Newsboys. Well, he used to be the Newsboys lead singer. His name was Peter. he also used to write music for Elvis Presley. So he was an amazing songwriter, but he had his own band called Mile Lefevre and Broken Heart. Yeah, there you go. Somebody's calling out band members here, Kenny Ward. So, so Mile Lefevre was just his style. It's that Southern fried blues funk thing. It was just something I gravitated towards. Very type of Stapleton type of thing. But yes, Xavion is fantastic. Yes, I actually have that album over there. That's actually over there. It's there. Eat Your Heart Out. I remember that song. Babe, eat your heart out. Eat your heart out, babe. Yeah. Anyway, so we had a couple more news items that we wanted to talk about before we wrapped up for the night. That we jumped ship to talk to Paul because he was here. There's a couple releases that I heard about that are coming down the pike that I thought you guys may be interested in. Of course, we'll be doing another show before these hit, but on July 15th, Lizzo, her brand new album Special is about to drop. So that will be something to look out for. She's always obviously a huge Prince fan and owes a lot of her success to Prince for sure. And speaking of which, somebody else was influenced by Prince. Also, Beyonce's brand new album Renaissance drops on July 29th. So that's going to be pretty awesome. So we got two cool drops to look forward to. No, I know people are going to ask about whether or not any more Prince stuff is going to be dropping. Don't know. Nothing has been listed. Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean reunited at 2022 Essence Music Festival. Was it just a few days ago?
A couple days ago.
Yeah, a couple days ago. And they performed and they mentioned something that it was a surprise reunion that occurred, and the way they phrased it was Wyclef's unannounced set at New Orleans Caesars Superdome. So was Wyclef's appearance not even on the books? And then to add to that, in the middle of this unannounced set, out walks Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, and they really musically blended it. You weren't 100% sure that she was that it was her song. You know what I mean? They're just leading into it, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a second, and then you heard her, and then there she was, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just well, because hold on a second, I think and Wyclef 2020. Yeah, I think there was a clip that somebody had posted up. There was some here. There's a bunch of different clips that pop up. But anyways, so you can actually see some of those clips. But yeah, so she popped up and did Killing Me Softly, the solo rendition of Killing Me Softly, and then also joined him for How Many Mics, Ready or Not. So that's, very cool.
Yeah.
So if you are absolutely a Wyclef and if you're a Fugees fan, that was probably definitely.
If you're not, there's something wrong with you. You haven't heard them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Back in the day, but still.
Yeah. So, and the last news bit that we had to talk about is Michael Jackson news. For me, this news is kind of a little bit surprising, but I don't follow Michael obviously like I do Prince,
right?
And if I'm being honest regarding Michael Jackson, I love Michael Jackson, Off the Wall. I love Thriller. I even like Bad, but then after that, and of course, like some various tracks on Jackson 5. But after that, I just kind of tuned out. I don't not for any. There was always be some songs that would kind of pop out that would catch my attention.
Oh yeah.
But I never followed him as closely as I followed Prince, because I think media did such a great job at building that Michael Jackson versus Prince, who's the king of pop thing. that whole battle that was going on during the 80s. And I very much, even though I liked Michael, I very much was in the Prince camp. I mean,
it's kind of like taking the Pepsi challenge between Pepsi and Coke.
Yeah, I couldn't. I just couldn't. I couldn't. I just couldn't. But anyways, there was a not brand new album. There was an album that came out about 4 years ago. I want to say it was 2018, called Michael. Just very, very simply called Michael. I think we have the picture of that album cover, but it was an album called Michael. And there was, and this old news came up a few years ago regarding the fact that there were 3 Michael Jackson songs that were on the album: Monster, featuring 50 Cent, Keep Your Head Up, and Breaking News, that were put on this Michael album, but they weren't Michael Jackson singing it.
Right. At least that's allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, and the only reason, and this was news back a few years ago, but it's come back up now because of the fact that I guess there's a little bit more validity to those claims, because of the fact that now Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and a bunch of other platforms have yanked those 3 songs off. Those songs are no longer available as part of that album. And they say, go ahead.
Sorry, no, after you.
No, I was going to say, a spokesperson from Jackson's website confirmed that the 3 songs were no longer available and stated that the removal had nothing to do with their authenticity.
Right.
Essentially, I guess they're kind of a little bit embarrassed by the fact that that there was this company, I guess Vera. There was a company that came up with those 3 songs. A company called Sorova. Oh, Eddie Cascio and James Porte. They sold them the tracks that are also called the Cascio tracks, Cascio tracks. And they sold those 3 tracks to the Jackson estate for millions of dollars following his death in 2009. And when you got the album, on the album it said, this album contains 9 previously unreleased vocal tracks performed by Michael Jackson. And these tracks were recently completed using music from the original vocal tracks and music created by the credited producers. However, Jackson's mother, Catherine Jackson, said some of the tracks on the album are fake. Mm-hmm. Even his sister LaToya said it doesn't sound like him. And his nephew, Terrell Jackson, son of brother Tito Jackson, added that he was present when the songs were handed over to Sony. But Terrell said, how they constructed these songs is very sneaky and sly. I know my uncle's voice, and something's seriously wrong when you have an immediate family saying it's not him. You got multiple people saying that's not Michael on these tracks. His own mother is like, that's not my son. His mother and brother's like, that's not my son.
Pretty strong argument.
Yeah, and then there was a few Prince tracks that were like that.
Right.
There was a few Prince tracks that had gotten into the mix, into like the unreleased Prince tracks.
Right.
I can't remember. It wasn't Cookie Jar, but there was a song that was in that batch with Cookie Jar. I think they threw Cookie Jar in there to kind of add validity to the tracks. But there was, but it was a guy that was on MySpace. He had a MySpace account, and he sounded dude sounded very, very, very similar to Prince in a lot of his intonations on the sillier songs, when Prince is being a little bit more loose, not obviously when he's doing his ballads or something where he's really identifiable, but some of those Cookie Jar type songs where that it's just where you're like, yeah, that could be Prince. I'm second guessing myself, man, maybe it's okay. And so I think this is really, really interesting case, because now, you got his own mother and brother saying that's not him on these songs. the album has what I guess, is there any other legal repercussions for this, because millions of people have bought this album thinking, 9 previously unreleased tracks. What would you do? Would you shit a brick if you found out that a bunch of the tracks that were on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe were not Prince?
Right.
Even if it was the instrumental ones, where he's not singing, and you're like, oh, well, this is pretty different for Prince, and they say, yeah, that's not Prince playing on that at all.
Yeah,
because his voice is so immediately identifiable that it's hard to trick any hardcore Prince fans.
Can you say civil lawsuit?
But from an instrumental standpoint, there are tons of songs that I hear instrumentally, and I'm just like, there's one called Traffic Jam that I've seen that we even play as part of Prince Giving, that every time I hear it, I'm like, I feel like somebody's pulling my leg when I hear it, and it's just like, is it really him though? Because with the instrumentals, you just don't know, because he could just be in any mode. But with these, there's actually vocals,
right?
And you have his mother and his brother saying, "That ain't him," and that's been going on for years. And again, there must be some validity to it now, because of the fact that now all the streaming services have pulled those.
Yeah, I would think so.
Pulled those 3 songs.
Man, just somebody to do that. I mean, we don't know. I don't know what is and what isn't, but if it's not, man, to pull one over on people like that, that's full on Milli Vanilli. You know what I mean? Come on, dude. Really?
I was watching TV when that Milli Vanilli thing happened.
Oh yeah.
I was watching it. Now I may have been pre-recorded, but it said live, but I was watching it when it happened. I don't know why I happened to be in front of the TV when it happened, and I felt like it was kind of like one of those moments on TV where you watch it happen and you're just like, you're getting like really anxious.
Yeah, like
it's just like, this is not good. This can't be good. This can't be good.
This can't be good.
It's like, it's kind of like the same feeling when back in the 80s, they had this really dark, horrible video set of people dying called Faces of Death.
Oh, remember that? Faces of
and they used to do these commercials for Faces of Death on TV where they would show like these scenes of people right about to be killed.
And I had to watch it.
And you're like sitting there watching these commercials and you're like, yeah. and the video's called Faces of Death, and you knew that and there was like always this like one scene that's like it's etched in your mind forever, like the brother that's holding his little brother in front of the train or whatever, and he jumps out and it clicks the video. You're like, God dang it!
Oh my gosh!
Not saying that Milli Vanilli moment was just like that. I'm saying it created anxiety
for their career. It was. I mean, just say it was the train.
Correct. Technically, it was Faces of Death for Milli Vanilli.
It really was.
Not to be dark.
But wow.
Not to be dark, considering one of the members. Yeah, it's very dark. Yeah, we just took you back there with Faces of Death.
I'm damaged right now.
It's one of those things that's like you kind of hole away and you're like,
yeah, but the way the world is now, you could watch that show and be like, psh. Yeah, because things have changed so much. But
it's probably on YouTube now. The clips are probably on YouTube.
Yeah, everywhere. But at the time, because you know it's real. Because you know that's. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man, I was like, I didn't know those. Yeah, there was commercials for it. It was like one of those like infomercial type of things. It was like, buy now and you'll get Faces of Death too. You'll see more people die. More deaths for less money. Whatever.
After the game, watch more death.
And if that's not enough blood and heartache for you,
Faces of Death.
We've got more reasons to lose sleep. Anyways, but anyway, so this whole thing with the whole Michael Jackson thing is just crazy to me. It's just wow.
Crazy. What do you do? What do you do? Because
there's nothing to do.
It's going to be a whole lot of there's going to be a whole lot of upset people. There are a whole lot of upset people, and when they start making major changes, like you said, like the streaming services now, it throws the flag back up. It could be because of lawsuits or whatever they're trying to work out, but you gotta go. I spent money on this, and how does everyone feel? So I don't know. I
was trying to look to see if I could find the Faces of Death TV commercial. I don't know. I know it exists, but they probably were like, "This is just like a horrible, horrible thing." I probably have it. Apparently, the Hollywood Reporter just did a thing that said they are doing a 21st century reimagining of the Faces of Death. So they're basically going to do an updated version of Faces of Death. But yeah, so I don't even know why I'm looking. I'm feeling some sort of way just even looking for it.
You need to settle down. You need to eat your peppermint bonbons and settle down.
Yeah.
We need to steer this in a different direction.
Yeah, so absolutely. It's such a horrible thing.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so anyways, that's all for our show tonight. We had a couple of news briefs and whatever. Again, we got some really, really cool things to kind of recap. We got some cool things coming. We'll be doing some album chats coming up for some early album chats. I know that there was a growth pattern, as you were saying, as far as like the album chats were concerned, but I feel like I also know a lot more about some of those releases also.
It makes sense.
So I would love. I was thinking about this before. Everybody keeps talking about 1999 Super Deluxe, Purple Rain Deluxe, and I was like, have we like totally missed over Dirty Mind and Controversy?
Right.
I mean, we're talking about albums that to get some type of deluxe treatment for those albums would be ridiculous. Now I realize that his library of music wasn't that vast at that time. But I beg to differ. There is a lot of old tracks from that period of time where he was there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he was doing things.
I mean, I actually have folders from the Dirty Mind era from 1980. He had there's tracks like Lisa, Rough, So Fine, Trouble, especially when you get to the Controversy period. The Controversy period, he had there's some of these have already been done, like Money Don't Grow on Trees and Irresistible Bitch and some of those things. So all those songs were kind of coming out in 81, but there's got to be some type of stuff that we don't know about from 81.
I think so. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a whole lot of things, or at least something.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff. We got a new Funk the Funk that will be eventually be coming. We got to put it together and figure out exactly what we want to do, because one of the things when we do these wellness broadcasts is we want to make sure that it's not just a bunch of people just talking
heads about nothing. Right.
We want to make sure that it's going to have some type of health benefit or be beneficial to you as a listener.
Right.
And, so I think in this particular case, we're talking about the topic that we were talking about as far as the power of regret and motivation. Mm-hmm. Maybe having some type of motivational speaker, some type of somebody who's a really good.
Robbins up here.
Yes, let's get Tony. Why not?
Hey, just call Tony up.
Just call Tony. Hey, Tony.
Forget about it.
Hey, Tony, I know you normally you can't even fart without millions of people wanting to listen, but kind of thing. Hey, why don't you come waste your time? What's your going rate, like $1 million an hour? Hey, we got you. We got you.
For a couple of hours.
Yeah, we got. We'll
take
figure
5 minutes. Just 5.
Just 5 minutes. All you gotta do is lock him down for 5 minutes, because I don't know if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins thing. I've been to one of his events, and he was only supposed to talk for an hour. 5 hours later, dude was still talking. The dude is just one of these machines where it's just like, we're off. And we're off.
And here we go.
He doesn't do an hour anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't do an hour anything. So I would love to have something motivational. But yeah, that's always something that we've always been talking about, is just really wanting to really bear down on not just doing these really cool music interviews like you guys like to do, but getting those musicians and people that you admire to come on the show and talk about life, talk about depression, talk about motivation, talk about perseverance, talk about regret, talk about those things that affect everybody. So it's not just for your entertainment value. You've got enough of that crap on Netflix and Hulu and Paramount Plus and whatever other shows are out there.
Exactly.
Or streaming services are out there. This, we want to actually be something you can apply to your life.
Yeah, real takeaways that somehow affect your life, or change your life, improve the quality of life or your perspective. And that's really what this is all about. Is how do we continue to improve? There's already enough things out there that are not helping us or doing anything positive for us. Listen to the music. There's plenty of music out there it's just stuff. I mean, not saying it's bad. I enjoy a lot of it, but it's not feeding us spiritually, physically. It's not doing anything for us. And so that's really the end goal. The end goal is to, feed us.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying to do. That's what we would like to do. So Ann says, is there an in-person event in the works like last year's paint party? Well, that was an event that we put together
Tamar.
for Tamar. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of fun to do, but it was also finding something that worked for everybody. If we do something, it would probably be something like a downtown, like an Atlanta event, but also be something that would be have like a DJ event, it would be cool to have a whole day of something.
We have to do something big to get the numbers to make it, logical to do, because
there's some really cool spaces at Underground Atlanta. And I know that Underground Atlanta is not like the greatest place to go right now, but they did a NFT event in Underground Atlanta. It was during the day, and they have some really cool spaces that are down there, but it's not, the new Masquerade is down there. The new location of Masquerade is in Underground. Mm-hmm. And so there's some cool places. You just got to be real careful about where you do it and when you do it. Because there's just some places that are cool during the day, not cool at night.
Not cool at night.
So you just want to make sure that, we'd love to do an event. Just guys got to help us come up with an idea. As you know, and some of you don't know, 2024.
Yes.
We are in 2022 right now. I don't know if you guys realize this, but in 2024, Funkatopia will have been around for 20 years, and we haven't accomplished shit. 20 years.
Not a damn thing.
So it will be like the Funkatopia logo like this, and then around the circumference it will say 20 years of absolute nothingness. Spinning our wheels since 2004.
Man,
so
horrible.
20 years we've been doing this for 20 years. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah. I think it would be.
That'd be something cool. We have like some type of major event. Tony said that he would work with us, to kind of try to get NPG down here to maybe do a show, do a concert with NPG. Have like maybe DJs come and do and just have like a really cool funk Prince event. Have multiple funk bands, not just NPG or Prince related, but maybe have somebody, not like massive like Earth, Wind and Fire. You definitely couldn't afford that, but something that would be really friggin' awesome to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to do some.
Great.
Yeah. So we have time to plan that for sure.
Not too much. Not too much time.
Yeah. You definitely got to move on that one for sure. Next week, as I mentioned, we will have Michael Gabriel in the house, which is going to be very awesome. Michael Gabriel will be here with, for those who don't know Michael Gabriel, he is the godson of Sheila E. and Prince. His dad, if I remember correctly, is Gilbert Davison, and he plays guitar for Sheila E. So he is Sheila E.'s guitarist. If you've seen Sheila E., he's the one that's on guitar, and he is unreal. He is an amazing guitarist. He's an amazing singer. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays everything on all of his albums, and it is just sick. It's really, really sick. Hold on a second. Let me.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me see if I can share. I wanted to share something because I downloaded a track. Well, I didn't download this. He sent me seven tracks from. Let me see if this how long this takes to upload. But he sent me 7 tracks from his brand new album that is not out yet. It comes out in August or September. I think the album is, if I remember correctly, the album is called Genesis. And he sent me some really, really cool tracks. Here is a clip. I'm not playing the entire song. I'm just giving you a little taste of this. This is actually a rockier track, but I loved it. It like immediately caught my attention, being the Living Colour fanatic that I am, and just that hard rock. But this track is just. Woo! Gonna sort it out like a big dog, but not highbrow. Locking that play, my heart now, little Miss Life. Oh yeah. We so red. It's very cool.
Rocking out for sure.
It's very cool. But I mean, there's some. He obviously does the standard funk stuff that you would expect to see. Matter of fact, I was asking his manager about this track called. This track is what was the one track that caught my attention was "Celebrate," and this particular track, I said, "Man, this sounds like it's got Sheila all over it," and apparently she did actually work on some of the tracks. Did the drum because this song is being sent out to DJs now. It's called "Celebrate." Don't give me that look because I know you got nowhere to be. Relax, baby, before I show you how to begin. Up down ain't even right, yeah, you know how it is. I say no, you can't find the groove. All right. Notifications. Look.
All I can think is chocolate.
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 Come get nah. Yeah, but it's
jumbo shrimp.
But it's got
nice.
Obviously, it's got that funk Minneapolis sound all over it. But I've got 7 tracks that I'll eventually add to the Funked Up app. But he's going to be on the show next week, and you guys got to check it out. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. You guys
don't
just
play
got to
anymore,
hear.
Though. Don't give up. Don't shoot your whole wad here.
You have got to. You'll kill me if I play all these tracks because these aren't even released.
Yeah, let's.
I just played you 2 clips of tracks that aren't even released yet. Nobody's heard them, other than the people that are behind the scenes. Well, you just heard a couple, but it's awesome. So
cool.
Tune in next week. Same time, and I don't know what else we'll be doing, but we'll see. Hopefully, I have some more information on you and some other stuff, and got some things in the works coming up too for another Funk the Funk broadcast. Talked about this before, but it's one based around spirituality and meditation.
Yes.
And the guest that I have in line is fantastic. But we'll
get to that.
We'll get to it. All right. Good night, everyone. I hope you had a fantastic time. Go buy that album, stpaulpeterson.bandcamp.com, and we will see you guys next week with our special guest, Michael Gabriel. And we'll guys see you next week. Thank you guys. See you later. And if you missed any of this, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, like, subscribe. See you later. Have a good night.